Welcome back to Zack's Tool Shop. I put up a poll on YouTube a couple weeks ago asking you guys what you wanted to see next, and the review of my RYOBI table saw was at the top of the poll. So after this, we're going to have oscillating tools, and I want to remind you guys, whatever tools you want to see, just put it in the comments or make sure to vote on those polls, because I'm going to try to do videos that you guys want to see and just go off of strictly that until there's just no ideas available for a video. Then I might make up one. But underneath all this crap is my RYOBI table saw, and we're going to put it through its paces. And first, let's run a few tests, and then I'll give you some commentary on what I've thought so far owning this for a few months. The first thing that I'm doing here is I have the table saw at its full height. I have 4 pallet boards that are glued together that I'm using as a table leg, and I'm using it to cut out, just demonstrate what it's going to behave like when you try to cut through something that's almost at its maximum depth. Now, I cut through most pallet boards with ease. They're usually soft woods, they're very thin, it's normally not a problem, but the harder boards and the thicker stuff definitely presents a problem for this table saw because it is not powerful. I want to stress that. It is underpowered compared to other table saws because it's a battery table saw. It does the job for me, but it's not going to do like a job site framer's job, a cabinet maker's job. It's not for, as you see, it's stalled right there. I had to restart it, back it up and restart it. It's not powerful enough for professional use, but for my shop, it comes in very handy for what I'm doing, which is very lightweight work. Before I did any testing, I wanted to switch out the blade. It comes with like a ripping or a rough RYOBI blade, but when I did more fine cutting for this furniture, I know I wanted to get something a little bit nicer, and I wanted something new for our testing here, so I ordered a couple Diablo 40-tooth blades, and they have done very, very well since I put them on. You'll see them during the testing. You saw them in the previous test. Pretty easy to change out a blade. You take off that center compartment, you loosen the nut on the blade. The tools come with the table saw. You can then slide the blade out, slide the other blade on, and it's a relatively easy endeavor. Some of the things I wanted to demonstrate to you guys, because you had requested this video, is going to be how powerful is this saw, how does it compare with a normal table saw, how will it behave, how long will the battery last. That's one of my #1 concerns, is how long was the battery going to last. It comes with a 4 amp hour high performance battery, and I'll demonstrate to you guys how well that 4 amp hour battery does a little bit later in this video. Now I'm putting the new Diablo blade in. Again, pretty simple and easy to get to all the stuff. Tools come with it, so it's no problem, very easy stuff, and you'll be on your way really fast. The one tip that I will have is that in the back, that riding knife little lever you see sticking up, it's like a green yellowish color in the video. Make sure you push it down all the way, or if you try to go at a 45 and adjust the bevel, you won't be able to do so because that riding knife will hit the cover and actually push the cover up and cause an issue. That's what I ran into when I forgot to or didn't know to push it down all the way. So make sure you got that thing pushed down all the way. As you see, I'm tightening the blade right here. Now all I have left to do is put the cover back on, clip it into place. There's a little circular knob at the bottom there. You turn from lock to unlock, and then you're back in business. This is the battery port. As you see, I'm pointing to 2 terminals. That is the high performance terminals that communicate with the tool from the battery to give you that extra level of performance. That is the 4 amp hour battery I placed in the saw, but this 9 amp hour I'm holding is what I would definitely urge you to use, the maximum size. This is the on-off switch, just like every other table saw. It has a little flapper right there. Easy to turn it off if you're in a bind. The maximum blade height at 90 degrees is just below 2 3/8, and at 45 degrees it's just below 2 inches. It is at a 45 when I set it to 45, so it did match up angle-wise. It wasn't off, or at least it wasn't off by very much at all. This is the adjustment, how you put the bevel on the cut. And there's a locking lever, and you see you swing back and forth to put a particular bevel. Then you can lock it back into place with that lever. It's pretty easy to do. The angle of cut is on paper, and that is a horrible quality issue, very bad. The fence, I'm going to set it up at a number and see if it actually stays straight. You lock it in from the front and slide it back and forth. I always double check because I do not trust this fence to be straight. I think that is a reasonable concern because of the way that these fences are made. I've locked it in and it stayed relatively straight within about a 1/16 to an eighth of an inch the various times that I've locked it in, but I would definitely suggest measuring every time you set it up. Now I'm going to try the saw with various battery sizes to see if the power is different between the 2 amp hour, 4 amp hour, and 9 amp hour. This is the 2 amp hour. It was a noticeable lack of power when compared to the other batteries. You'll see that during this cut I have to stop and start several times. It is not advisable to use 2 amp hour. Like I said before, I think 9 amp hour is the bare minimum, and that's the maximum size battery. They do have a 6 amp hour battery, but still, I don't even think that I would use that. I would love to have a couple 9s. I have one 9 and need to get another one, and I'll feel a little bit better about it. But as you can see, this cut continues and is taking quite a long time because I have to stop and start, and it's actually causing a significant delay in the project. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show this run one more time, except I'm going to add the 4 amp hour and 9 amp hour runs on the screen as well, so you can see the difference between those two. Keeping in mind that they're all performance batteries. Since this saw comes with a 4 amp hour battery in the kit, we're going to see how many cuts on these treated 2x4s we can get with this 4 amp hour high performance battery. Keeping in mind that these 2x4s are all 10 inches long, so we can also calculate how much length of cut we got in the 2x4 total. And this, my friends, is what 35 1-inch strips of treated wood look like. Soak it in, everybody. It's amazing. I was very excited to buy this saw, and this saw is a really good match for me, for my particular conditions. My shop, I need to run a larger wire size to power a lot of the equipment that I've acquired over the last year. So having a battery powered table saw really came in handy. And because I'm cutting really thin stock, boards that are 1/2 inch wide, sometimes a little bit thinner than that, but very rarely something thicker like a 2x4 even. So it works very well for me. I can get a lot of cuts out of a battery charge. However, I do believe that this won't work for 90% of people who need a table saw, maybe higher than that, because it's so underpowered. I mean, you might as well buy a corded table saw if you have the power. I mean, you can get the corded version of this cheaper than this,
And it's just going to be a very small group of people that find this useful. No tradesperson that needs a table saw is going to be able to use this. And it's really going to be very specific. I think that it's not a product for most people. Honestly, I don't really think most people are going to get a whole lot out of it. There are better options or cheaper options if you have the power for it. Just my thoughts. Tell me what you think in the comments, guys and gals. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And I will see you next week with another video.